So,
Buttons.
wisdom teeth. Do you feel any less smart now that you've had your wisdom teeth taken out? Welcome to Eye on Sports, where we delve into the biggest Butler County sports topics. I'm your host, Butler Eagle Sports writer, Derek Pyda. Joining me are fellow sports writer Brendan Howe and Eagle Sports editor, Jake Merda Adams.
Now, my mouth still feels there's pressure in the back with the stitches. I was calling them sutures, and Bailey was making fun of me for calling them sutures. But you can feel the pressure in the back.
Tomato.
Yeah, and so a lot of mashed potatoes. Well, one plate of mashed potatoes. I ate Texas Roadhouse rolls. I just balled them up into small balls, dipped them in the butter, and swallowed them. So that was that.
That sounds delicious.
You don't realize how much enjoyment
You should have just sucked on them until they started to just like...
Well, the thing is, you can't create a vacuum in your mouth and suck down. Otherwise, those blood clots that are supposed to heal and make your mouth back to normal, that's where
I
the dry salt
remember
comes from.
very
So,
vividly.
Yeah, that I've never realized how much enjoyment comes from chewing food. I'm having mac and cheese. I'm just swallowing it.
Derek's face.
There's no enjoyment in just swallowing your food. You want to taste it for a while, chew it, and
Derek, did you have your wisdom teeth out?
Nope. I had oral surgery when I was 12. I literally had 4 teeth taken out, but they were in here because my mouth was too small.
Oh,
I think
My wisdom teeth have never. Every once in a while, that one will poke through the skin, and I can feel it with my tongue. But they're still up there.
And then it just goes back in.
It
or
retracts.
something?
Yeah.
Shut up.
For a couple days
Is
you
that
can
a
feel
thing?
it.
I don't know about that.
I'm serious. You could feel it for a couple days.
I think
and
those
then,
wisdom teeth are doing something to your wisdom.
No.
You're a smart guy.
Not when it comes to sports knowledge. What's my record now? I can't see that blood in
19 and 17.
I think I'm 20 and 17 now.
Yeah, I gotta fix that. Sorry.
Yeah, well, there was that, and there was my sister's graduation, which is family drama in itself, and yeah, so that was probably until vacation the most relaxing weekend I'll have. And Bailey keeps telling me, we went to brunch yesterday with her family and some of her family's friends, and then we watched her sister and her friends the rest of the night. So we were babysitters yesterday. I came here, did pages, went home. Did some work there, and I'm going to be honest, I was telling Bailey this earlier, kids are like dogs that you can't tire out. I haven't been around a lot of kids since, my siblings were kids, and they, her sister and their friends come to hang out, and it's these 9 to 11-year-olds, and they're the Energizer Bunny, especially you give them pop, you give them ice cream, you give them any sugar, and they will go for hours. It's just chill out, calm down. Here I am.
No, there's no calming down.
Don't
you remember being a kid? You were probably like that, bouncing off the walls.
Probably, but now I sleep for 9 hours and I wake up and I'm tired. I'm blinking. So,
you're tired at your age. Well, just wait.
Yeah. Well, I also haven't had coffee in a week now, so that kind of is a drawback. But I was playing Madden today. I want to tell you this. So I was playing in the playoffs. I hardly ever make the playoffs in Madden. I usually just give up before then, or I just don't have the time. My team sucks because I try to tear a team down and build it back up. It's I want to do it my own way. And I'm the Cowboys. I have Justin Jefferson on one side, CeeDee Lamb on the other. I have a rookie running back that was a first-round pick. He's pretty good. And I have a rookie quarterback and Zach Wilson as my quarterback combo. Neither is really better than the other. I prefer the rookie.
Where's George Pickens at?
He's still on the Steelers. I didn't trade for him. But I'm playing the Buccaneers in the playoffs, and it's 28-28 with less than 2 minutes to go. I made Tampa Bay use all of its timeouts. I'm on the 15-yard line. I bust a run, and I could have just fallen down, led the clock, kicked the field goal, won it. But instead, I have a lapse in judgment, and I just run the ball in. 2 plays later, Baker Mayfield throws a 66-yard touchdown to Rondale Moore. He broke 3 tackles because it's not all Madden. It's the hardest difficulty. And they go for 2. They get it. There's 28 seconds left. I'm I can do this. So I get the ball back. My first play was I'm just going to try to throw it deep to Justin Jefferson. Incomplete, 6 seconds off the clock. So next play, it's 2nd and 10. I hit Alec Pierce. I traded for him too. The Colts wide receiver, I think he was drafted a few picks before George Pickens. Threw an out route. He catches on the sideline, runs out for 10 yards. I'm on the 42-yard line, I think, at that point. So I had the video I can show you after. I call another play. Tight end runs a seam. Jake Ferguson runs a seam. Wide open. There's not a defender within 20 yards of any side of him. And my quarterback overthrew him. My rookie quarterback. I was like, oh. So there's 8 seconds left. I was like, I need like 8 to 10 yards here to kick this field goal to try to win this. I throw it to Jalen Tolbert. He gets 8 yards, and it's like the tackle motion or tackle animation on the game where it takes him forever to like actually get tackled because he's fighting for extra yards. I'm like, go down, go down. He gets down. I call a timeout. 2 seconds left. I kick a 51-yard field goal that went that far over the crossbar to win it. I'm going home tonight. I play the Eagles. I lost the Eagles twice during the regular season. Both times they just stomped me. I have revenge when I get home tonight. That is my night tonight. If I lose that game, I'm probably going to break my
I got
controller.
revenge on somebody I'm going to play in online Scrabble tonight, too. So. They beat me pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I haven't played Scrabble in a minute.
I actually lose most of the games because they're pulling words that I've never even heard of.
Are you pulling out your dictionary when they do that?
No, I do not.
No?
I don't. That's another thing. They might be cheating. I don't cheat. I just go with what's in my head, which sometimes isn't much.
So you deal with words here all day, and I mean, this is kind of hypocritical because I'll go home and I'll write, but you deal with words all day, then you go home and you're like, you know what I want to do? Words.
Yeah. Over the last week, our last 3 last 4 spring sports teams lost in the state playoffs. We're going to work backwards, so we're going to go to the most recent game, which was played this past Saturday out in Mechanicsburg. I was there.
You've been everywhere. You've been to all these games, actually.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's one I haven't been to. We'll talk about them in a minute. Mars Boys Lacrosse trying to get to – this was a quarterfinal game, but they were trying to end the season playing in their 5th straight state championship game, and their run ended with a 15-10 loss to Allentown Central Catholic. And this game was so evenly matched early on, Brendan. I'm sure you wish you were there, even though you were in pain from your wisdom teeth being taken out.
it did look like a close game from what you were writing.
It was 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, all the way up to 6. And then finally, midway through the third quarter, Allentown scored 2 straight goals to go up 8-6. And even though Mars, came back to make it close later in the quarter and early in the fourth, they never did pull even again with Allentown. So a great run by Mars. They played in 4 straight state championship games, and their streak of Whitfield titles, of course, is still going because they won their 9th straight district championship last month. But Mars Boys Lacrosse done in the quarterfinal round on Thursday. Rob McGraw, our head photographer, and I went out to Altoona to cover Seneca Valley baseball. They played Cedar Cliff. I'm sure you noticed this. I think you covered one of the games. Seneca Valley's previous 3 games. So we're talking the Whitfield semifinal, the Whitfield final, and the first round of the state playoffs against McDowell. Seneca Valley gave up a combined 1 run in 3 games. So great pitching performances to get them to the state quarterfinals. The pitching just on this day against Cedar Cliff was not good. They used 4 pitchers. The 4 pitchers combined to give up, I believe it was 10 hits and 8 walks. And Seneca Valley's off, their bats came and they performed, but you give up 12 runs, and that's how many Seneca gave up. They gave up 12 runs. You're not going to win many of those games. Seneca Valley lost that game 12-7. But still, this season included their first Whitfield championship in 11 years. Eric Semega, as you know, long time. I think he is our longest tenured baseball coach in the county. So he was able to add another Whitfield title to his career resume. Seneca Valley wins districts for the first time in 11 years. Their season ended this past Thursday in the state quarterfinals. And back to last Tuesday, Mars Girls Lacrosse fell to Twin Valley. I didn't know this until the day of the game. Twin Valley had played in the last 3 state championship games. They were kind of like Mars Boys. They had a streak of playing in state championships. They had played in the last 3 state championships. When I saw that, I thought, well, Mars is obviously the better seed because Twin Valley, which is out near Harrisburg, they were made to come here. They had to do the 4+ hour drive. But I said, wow, this program's used to playing all the way to the end to the state championship. I think they're going to be a really tough out tonight, and as it turned out, they were. Mars put up a fight. They came back late, rallied to force overtime, but I think it was about a minute and 20 seconds into overtime, Twin Valley scored the deciding goal to win that game 11-10. And the game we didn't cover, just because it was out east, Seneca Valley Boys Volleyball lost to Central York. I believe it was by a sweep.
Yeah,
and
it was a close sweep, if that's such a thing.
The scores were close, but it just goes to show you, Seneca Valley, they played right with NA this year. They split with NA in the regular season, and they lost, I believe it was a 5-setter in the Whitfield Championship match. So you get to the state playoffs, and you're thinking, well, this is what we've done. Just like track, we talked about it. You can do, 19 feet in the long jump if for girls, or 23 feet in the long jump for the boys in, say, early May. But if you don't do it on the day when you have to do it this day to advance the states, or you have to do it this day to place at states, I guess it really goes for all the sports. I mean, you can have good performances leading up to those games, but if you don't have it that day and the other team does, that's what happens. 4 state playoff teams we began we began June with, and all 4 of them fell: Seneca Valley Boys Volleyball, Mars Boys Lacrosse, Mars Girls Lacrosse, and Seneca Valley Baseball. But, when you consider how many spring sports teams we cover, those were the last 4 standing, and they were 4 pretty good ones.
You think Jake's in the loop? Like, you think he'd come back?
I bet you he knows that the Pirates just swept the Phillies. I guarantee you that.
You think he knows that all those teams have been eliminated?
I think he's been keeping track because I don't know if he told you this, but I think he said if he came back and we had a state championship game being played Saturday, which we don't, obviously, we're done now, he was going to cover it. So I'm sure he's kind of keeping tabs to see, okay, who's still left. And Jake, he's not going to hear this till Thursday. We're done, Jake. You don't have to work Saturday. You don't have to go to Penn State University on Saturday.
We should have made like a sheet if he didn't know, and just put it on his desk when he comes back and be like, Mars boys and girls both play this day. Seneca Valley Volleyball plays this day, and have every team make the state championship, and have him or force him to go to the brackets and check to see who was knocked out and who wasn't, or go to the website and read your stories. So
the cool thing about where I was on Thursday with Rob, Veterans Memorial Park in Altoona. My cousin won a state championship on that field in 1989. He played for Connellsville's high school baseball team. They played Williamsport that day. I believe the date was June 22nd. The reason I know that is I've watched this game on YouTube like 4 times. It's on YouTube. But I was just expecting the field to be, it was at the same site, but I figured the field itself would be, we're talking 36 years ago. I thought the field would be, there'd be some huge difference in the way it looked. And it really didn't. I got to the field, and I kind of walked over to the part of the field where whoever filmed my cousin's state championship game that day in 1989, I kind of walked to that area to the stands and looked down on the field, and it looked pretty darn much the same 36 years ago. It's a nice field, but the complex has not changed from what I could see on YouTube. And like I've watched that game like 5-6 times. So I got to, go to that site. I've watched that game so many times. And to be at the site and see the park pretty much in the same shape as it was 36 years ago, that was pretty neat. Seneca Valley. You
find some pretty interesting YouTube
Cedar
polls.
Cliff.
I'll give you that. You find a lot of things on YouTube.
Well, there's times I get sick of getting my butt kicked on Scrabble. So, and as you know, the dog's upstairs. The dog's not giving me any loving. So
we got to get you College Football 26 or Madden 26, and you got to play that at night. Just like I pound the table for John to play MLB The Show, and he just refuses to for some reason.
I got into I'm going to run this by you real quick because I know we got other things to talk about. The old Madden with the historical teams on it. This was Madden of 02, I believe. Was Culpepper on that?
Yeah.
I have a friend from high school. His name's Jeremiah. He lives south of Pittsburgh now. But we did this twice. We did this in the summer of 02 and the summer of 05. we got all the historical teams on that game, every single historical team. And we kind of went through and we kind of ranked them by how they did in real life, right? So the 75 Steelers, who won the Super Bowl that year, they were ranked pretty high. The, 82 Jets, who made the AFC Championship game, they were ranked fairly high, but they didn't get the Super Bowl. So we ranked them based on how they actually did in real life. And it turned out into I believe it was a 155-game tournament. Like, March Madness on steroids, basically. And each game was him versus me. He would get to pick who he was one game. Next game I would get. And I did make up a role, and he was okay with this. Right off the bat, I said, I'm not playing against the Steelers. I'm playing with the Steelers every single time. So we did this tournament twice, 155 games. That's 310 games total. First tournament, the 79 Steelers won, thanks to me. And the second tournament we did 3 years later, which was the same format, the 67 Rams won, of all teams. They actually lost in real life to the Packers in the playoffs. But he played really well with them. I couldn't beat him when he was the
whole time.
67.
Is seeing like quarterback number 12, like running back number 32.
Yeah, you knew who it was, right? I mean, it's not like a wide receiver for the Steelers in the late 70s, 88. Who the heck was that? You knew who it was. But it was a blast. But I mean, there were times. This is back when I was single. I didn't have to worry about waking the wife up or the baby crying at night. I mean, I was a bachelor. He would come up at the time. He was, for the first tournament, he was a student at West Virginia. He was going to WVU. There were times where I'd call him up on a Friday night, like an hour before I got out of here, and say, "Hey, Jay, he's down at Morgantown right now. You got anything going on tonight?" "No." "What about this weekend? How about coming up and let's just have a marathon, late Friday night into like Sunday afternoon marathon." He'd come up. We'd get like 20 games in one weekend. And then he'd drive back down to Morgantown. I mean, that was our life.
I feel like I get tired of Madden at that point. I like beating up on the computer. I don't like playing like real players because there's different like ways to play the game and strategies and stuff. I just prefer to beat up on the robots.
Do you know who we had on for an interview? Did you see that sheet?
I did, but it's blank.
Anna and Audra Lazzara.
The twins.
Yes.
Right?
We actually got the interview done this past Friday, and we're going to treat our listeners to that. Both girls, as you know, I think I did one of the stories at state. They qualified combined for 6 state events, which is pretty cool considering last year Audra didn't compete at states at all. Anna was in, I think, a couple of relays, but they really came on this year, and they're only now juniors, incoming juniors at North Catholic. Enjoy that interview. We have 2 guests this week on the Eye on Sports podcast, twin sisters Anna and Audra Lazzara, who both turned in standout sophomore seasons for North Catholic's girls track and field team this spring. They combined to qualify for states in 6 events, both contributing to North's Class 2A state title winning time of 48.06 seconds in the 4x100 relay. Anna and Audra, we thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the recognition. This is a great opportunity to be here.
Sure.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to make sure I'm straight on it now. I want to make sure our viewers are straight. We got Audra in the gray and Anna is in the black. So that's who we have here today. And just going to jump right into the questions here. Anna, you competed at the state meet last year in a relay. But this year, you qualified for states in 3 individual events after a Whitbill meet performance that included a 5th-place finish in the 100 dash, 4th in the 200, and 3rd in the long jump. I'm sure you were hoping to exceed what you were able to do as a freshman, but when did having a great sophomore season become a real possibility for you? When do we have to go back to see that?
Yeah, so I'm also a basketball player, so I joined track season a little bit late. I came in a bit behind, but I put a bunch of work in. And then really by May 2nd, it was the Pine Ridge Stone meet. I hit my first PR in the 100 since Whitbeall's last year of 12.31. And that's when I really got the motivation and that fueled me to. So that's when I really knew that I want this to be my season.
I also remember at the Butler invite, you went 18-4 in the long jump. I believe that was right. I remember getting my
yes.
photo. You're like, who's this
Yeah, that
weird
was
guy coming up to get my photo after the headshot?
no, yeah, I wasn't able to compete in long jump my freshman year because of stress fractures in my shin. And so sophomore year, I was just coming back into it. I definitely wasn't expecting to pop an 18.4, but I was surprised by that.
It was a
Pleasant
good day
surprise.
for you, definitely.
It was, yes.
Audrey, you made your first state appearance this year after winning a district title in the 100 hurdles and placing fifth at Whitbills in the 300. You were at Shippensburg a year ago as a spectator to watch your sister and other teammates. How did that experience of being there in that atmosphere but not actually being able to compete, how did that kind of fuel your fire entering your sophomore year?
Yeah, for sure. I went to Shippensburg last year to watch both my sisters run in 2 relays, and I kind of had to just sit in the bleachers the whole time. It was the biggest meet I've ever been to, and I was kind of disappointed in myself because I was just watching it, and I knew that I could have had the chance to compete in it, but I didn't take advantage of it as much as I should have. So this year, I really used that as motivation. Anytime I would want to start to lose motivation or get lazy during workouts, I would say to myself, no, I'm getting to where I want to get this year. And I never want to feel like I wasn't good enough to get to a state championship meet again.
No pain, no gain, right?
Exactly.
Audrey, the 400 relay quartet you were part of turned in a truly incredible postseason, a Whitfield title with a meet record time, and of course the state championship that came with a school record time of 48.06 seconds. What was the consensus with you and your three teammates on that relay? Did you guys believe you needed to break the school record to have a chance to win a state title? What time were you guys hoping for?
We definitely knew that the competition was going to be bigger than we've run against really all year. So we knew that we all needed to perform better than we have all year. Coach texted us the night before, kind of hyping us all up and giving us a motivational text. He wanted us to break sub 48, but we didn't quite get there. But we were super happy with all of the progress we made. All of us have under 13 for the 100, so it kind of added all up correctly. And yeah, we were hoping to get sub 48, but we didn't. But we were very proud of whatever we made.
Sure, absolutely. And I know I asked you guys one of you guys this at the state championships. What was the order of that 4x1 relay?
It was Audra was our leadoff, so she's great out of the blocks, great hurdler, really gets us makes up the stagger. Then Siva is our second leg, just super strong.
Mm-hmm.
Daphne, we like to call her Pac-Man on the curve. She loves it. She just eats up the curve. And then I'm the anchor who just finishes it off.
Okay, so you guys know how relays work. Sometimes it's tenths, hundredths of a second that can be the difference between a team reaching its goals and falling short. When it comes to relays, exchanges are so vital. So in the exchanges that you guys were involved in that final championship heat, did they go as well as you guys had hoped? So I guess, Audrey, it would have been you handing off to Siva, and it would have been you receiving the baton from Daphne. Were those exchanges as clean as you guys were hoping for?
Yeah, I mean, we'll walk you through all of them. I mean, Audra and Siva's. My handoff with Siva was pretty good. That was only our second time doing that because Whitfields was the first time that we ran the relay all together in the order that we had it. So I would say that we were scared about her going out too early, so I wouldn't be able to catch her, but our timing was pretty good. I'd say the one thing that I would fix is my placement of the baton in her hand. She kind of had to adjust it whenever she got the baton and started running. But other than that, I don't think really any time was taken off from our handoff. Yeah, then going on to Steve and Daphne's, theirs was nearly perfect. I mean, if you rewatch it on Mile Split, even the commentators are like perfect exchange in lane 4. They just did such a good job. They were confident in each other. Then me and Daphne's, we have like an 18-step. I leave when she's 18 steps away from me. I got out a little bit early. I was just excited, I guess. And so our exchange was a little bit deep in the zone, but we still got it done and did what we had to do. So all the exchanges were pretty flawless.
You mentioned your teammates on the relay were Siva Cresta and Daphne Floral, both seniors who are now graduated. Actually, I should throw this in. They actually had to miss graduation for the state championship meet, but they both said afterwards that it was worth it because they're state champions now. Siva returned from a torn hamstring just a few months ago to help North win state gold, and Daphne is, as you guys mentioned, a great all-around athlete, including in the long and triple jump. This question's for either one of you. What are your thoughts on the roles they filled for the team this year and the fact that they became state champions in their last high school meet?
Yeah, they're definitely great. They're such great role models, and they're just good all around people. They bring such a drive to practice that helps push everybody on hard workouts. Their work ethic is amazing, and it kind of just helps the whole team show up. And we're definitely really going to miss them next year as teammates and as people, because they really do bring an energy that not a lot of people do. Right. No, it's really special. We were so blessed to have them as leaders and run with them and for them. And we're just super proud and happy for them to see them work for the state title all 4 years. Because if you ask them freshman year, what's your biggest goal? They'll say win states in the 4x1. And it's just really happy, and we're so happy for them to be able to achieve what they wanted to do.
You know, a lot of kids, when you think about it, the vast majority of kids, if you ask them what their goals are by the time they graduate, I feel confident in saying this, the vast majority of kids don't actually reach that goal, whether it be, sometimes injuries come into play, or in a sport like track and field, technique and timing could be just a little bit off on the day that they have a chance to do it. So the fact that you guys are able to come together, 2 sophomores, 2 seniors, and make it happen, I thought it was really good, and I was obviously able to get a really good story out of it because they gave me great quotes. So we're going to talk a little bit about your personal life now. Anna, you are 30 minutes older than Audra. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Do you ever play the older sister knows best card with Audra?
I mean, even if I was 3 years younger, I would still say I know best, but just a little sister competition. Whenever we get in the car somewhere and I want to drive, I'll be like, I'm older, so she'll have to give it up to me.
and think about it, Audra, you're going to have to live with that for the rest of your life. There's no change in the fact that Ann is 30 minutes older, but and whether it be in track and field or just everyday life, what level of sibling rivalry, if any, is there that exists between you two?
Definitely there's competition in everything we do. I mean, we're sisters, we're best friends, but even when we were getting our driver's license, it was always like, I'm going to get it first. No, I am. You're going to fail. Always just a little bit of competition and making things fun and exciting between us, but it's all friendly, and in the end, it pushes each other to do the best that we can. And it's like having a built-in best friend. Like, we can bicker, we can push each other, and still know that we'll remain good in the end.
So, Audrey, you and Anna have an older sister, Grace, who is a former track star herself at North Catholic. How did track and field become a passion for all of you?
So my parents are both runners. We all kind of grew up running. We went to a really small school in grade school, St. Alphonsus, and that allowed us to join sports at a younger age. So we were all added into cross country, our school's cross country program, in 2nd grade maybe. So we all grew up running cross country. Then we joined track a little bit later than cross country, and then we finally discovered sprinting, which was a little bit easier than distance running. And Anna and I kind of just took off in sprinting, and my parents do distance and Grace does distance, but we just took up the sprinting and hurdling route.
This is just a little bit off the trail here for just a second. I wanted to ask this question to Anna. You're the one that plays basketball, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. That program, North Catholic's basketball program, is incredibly competitive. I mean,
it is.
They lost in the, I believe it was the state semifinals this year, and they are used to making deep runs. What is being part of that program like? And has it helped you at all with track, just being part of that competitive atmosphere during the winter season leading up to track?
Absolutely. I mean, the state semis game, like you were saying, it was so intense, and just being in that intense environment and the nerve-wracking like games, I've been there before, and so when I get to a state meet, like a state championship for the relay, I know how to like control those emotions, and I've been there before, and it really does prepare me emotionally and mentally just to expect and know what I have to do to play and run my best. So it definitely prepares me.
I saw some results this year on PA mile split. Did you also throw the shot put a few times this year? How did that go
I
for you?
did, yes. Our team needs points and we don't have any throwers, and my coaches are like, just go and throw, and I ended up being pretty decent at it.
You know, she actually ended up literally, I think about, I don't know the exact numbers, but we have our honor roll, Laura, which we print in the paper. And the honor roll is the top 5 efforts in that event from all over the county this year, and you were very close to making that. So you better watch out. Maybe they'll have you throwing discus next year. Who knows?
I was going to say, college, you're going to start doing the decathlon in college. They're going to find out you threw.
This summer, I'm really focusing on the heptathlon. So.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Well, the thing is, you have strong legs, and a lot of throwing is not just upper body, but lower body.
No, yeah,
it's
definitely.
legs. Yeah.
So, Audra, what would you say is the biggest difference in personality between you and Anna?
I would definitely say I'm a little bit chattier, especially when it comes to race time. Whenever we get nervous, you'll see Anna, you'll see her locked in, going through the steps in her head, not talking to anybody, eyes closed, preparing for the start. But whenever I get nervous, I get some butterflies in my stomach and I'll just start talking to anybody around me, start making little conversations to distract myself. And that might almost happen on like the everyday basis, where I'll just start little conversations and Anna's just very locked in to what she's doing and very driven.
Now, people that know you well, and I just was really acquainted with these young ladies for the first time this spring. For people that know you well, they are able to tell you apart because there is a difference, right? I mean, it's not like you've got like a family member who is calling Audra Anna and Anna Audra. You don't run into that problem with the people who know you well. Is that right?
From like the back, and like if we're just talking or slowly passing by, somebody will accidentally call us the wrong name every once in a while, and we'll have to correct them, but not really. My friends know us pretty well. It takes about, how long would you say? Like 3 months, because people say we look very similar. So it takes some time, but people get it eventually.
I don't feel as bad now because I met him for the first time in April, and here we are in early June, and I got it down. So I actually don't feel as bad because I was pretty embarrassed at the state meet.
No, that's impressive. How fast you got it was impressive. Most people can't do it that fast.
So this question is for both of you because you are twin sisters, but you're also different people, so you might have different interests. We're going to start with you, Anna. Outside of athletics, what interests do you have?
We're definitely a huge concert family. We love music. We're going to a concert tomorrow, actually. Just a lot of listening to music. We love to watch movies. I mean, working out. It's just not, it doesn't even have to be track. Just love to work out. Just.
What concert are you guys going to?
We're going to see Mount Joy at Stage A tomorrow.
Nice. Audra?
Yeah, I definitely do love music as well. I just got a job this summer, so I'll be doing that a lot. We love going to concerts, and like I said, I think in an interview earlier this year, before meets, listening to music kind of just to calm me down too. Definitely a lot of family time and a lot of friend time in our off seasons.
So you alluded to this just a few minutes ago, Anna. What are your plans for this summer, either athletically or leisurely? I mean, you guys got any vacations planned?
Yeah, I mean, Audra has volleyball nationals down in Orlando, Florida, in 2 weeks. So we're going down to Orlando, then we're making a vacation out of it. So that should be fun.
So,
yeah.
Anna, your basketball, Audra's volleyball.
Yes.
How about that? Well,
yes.
I was mentioning how competitive and good the basketball team is. The volleyball team under Amanda Fetter is also really good. So when did you pick up volleyball, Audra, and what has that experience been like playing for a high caliber team?
I picked up volleyball in 7th grade, I believe, so it was a little bit of a later start on that. But playing for North has really been amazing. The environment is always so fun to be in. It was definitely stressful this year. We had a really good team and very high stakes. We made it to the WesternPA championships, and we were recently moved up into 4A. So we played North Allegheny in the WesternPA championships. And it's definitely a high level of stress, but super exciting. Something that also will prepare you for a big track meet or something that you really need to be comfortable for.
Now at North, teams that win a Whitfield championship get to ring the bell, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Were you
Yes.
guys able to do that for the relay?
We weren't able to. Only our seniors are allowed to.
Oh.
So Steve and Daphne got in front of the whole school and rung it, and it was amazing. But we won't be able to until senior year.
Okay, so I know we're looking down the road here. You guys still have 2 full years left of high school, but have you guys given any thought to what college might bring, and if you would be up for competing in sports at that level?
Yeah, I do think that college sports is definitely something that we would want to look at. We can't reach out to colleges yet, or they can't reach back out to us yet. That date is coming up soon, I think in 9 days. So we're excited for that. We're kind of just waiting to see what happens, who reaches out, and what becomes of it. Yeah, definitely. It's exciting. It's probably going to be a stressful process, the recruiting process, but definitely want to run track, do heptathlon in college.
Where did you said your parents competed in college? Where did they go?
My dad went to Dayton. It's in Ohio, and my mom went to Westminster.
Awesome. I appreciate the time both of you have given us this week, and good luck over the summer, and I will see you next school year. Have a great summer, girls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You said thank you.
So we're gonna talk about Aaron Rodgers later in the show, right? I saw on Twitter last night he will become the Steelers' oldest player to ever play a down the first time he steps on the field for the Steelers. Who currently owns that distinction?
Wait, did you say play down?
As soon as he plays it down.
Got it.
Okay, I'm going to have to think about that one. You see what we're talking about here. So you got something else for Beyond Brennan with Butler. Okay.
Okay. That's what we're going to call it now. Welcome to Beyond Butler with Brendan.
Welcome to Beyond Butler. We talk about something outside of Butler County sports, whether that be professionally or collegiately. I'm not sure you got to see this, Derek, but the House versus NCAA settlement was agreed upon on Friday. I think it was Friday. So that makes it legal now for schools to pay players.
I thought that was already in place.
The way it worked before was outside collectives could pay the players, not the schools themselves.
Oh.
So now the schools are going to have an annual cap of, right now it's projected to be $20.5 million starting this season in football. So there was a rush over the past few months of all these like players in the transfer portal getting out so that they could get paid because there wasn't a cap. There wasn't a limit on how much they could make. Now these schools have to revenue share. They have to share these funds among the basketball team, the football team. They got to find ways to kind of make this work. I'm not sure if the outside collectives are still going to be able to pay or not. I haven't read that far into it, but this kind of kills amateurism from everything that I've listened to. Everything,
You think?
Yeah. If it hasn't been already, in theory anyways. What are your thoughts? You've been alive longer than me. You've been paying attention to the NCAA longer than me. I've really only been a college football fan for like 15 years now, and the NCAA has always seemed to have their hand in something, whether that be punishing Ohio State for getting tattoos and trading them for autographs, or the whole Michigan thing that we're going to see coming here hopefully soon. Cheaters. So what do you think about where the NCAA has come from, what they were as an entity before, and I'm talking back into whenever you started paying attention to college sports, to what they are now, which is definitely their weakest form?
Well, with social media now, I mean, if we went back to the 70s, 80s, 90s, even the early part of this century, with all the stuff that went on, we would know a lot more about the controversies, about, if there was social media back then, just like the NFL. You've heard the story of Ernie Holmes, the defensive lineman of the Steelers, taking a shot at a police helicopter. I mean, my gosh, if that happened now, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that, when I was a kid, college football was squeaky clean. It was definitely not squeaky clean. You know the whole story about SMU.
Yeah.
Pony Excess. The joke is when Eric Dickerson went from college to the NFL, he had to take a pay cut. As far as money goes, it's always been there. Of course, back then it was illegal, and that's why SMU got what they called the death penalty, where the program was completely scrapped for like 2 years. I mentioned this on a show back in the fall when I was talking about pro sports, when, they're never going to go backwards. Now that this is in place, you can never see the NCAA coming out and saying, okay, we're going to retract that. Schools aren't allowed to pay players anymore. And my question is, it's only going to move forward, just like players' salaries in pro sports. There was a time when Joe Namath signed a $400,000 pro contract. And at the time it was like, oh my, $400,000. No, that's not even a signing bonus these days. No. So my question is, if you think you're okay with what the NCAA is doing now in terms of allowing schools to pay players, what's it going to be like 20 years from now? Because they're going to take that next step. Every generation is going to try to push the bill a little
and the
further.
thing with that is the smaller schools, and I wrote about this earlier for one of my freelance jobs, the smaller schools are going to fall out of running. Like you see the mid-majors in the NCAA basketball tournament this year, there weren't really any Cinderella stories deep in the tournament. Like, can you think of one? I think by the time the Sweet 16 came around, every sort of team that you wouldn't think had a chance was already out. So all these smaller schools are going to fall out of contention.
I also saw something that said, like, even at the big schools, the sports that are not big revenue sports.
Yep.
So like women's volleyball, gymnastics, they might actually get cut from those colleges. The colleges might just come out and say, your program's not making enough money, so we're just going to do away with you now. I'm sure Title IX is going to have something to say about that too. Title IX is basically saying you have to have as many, female scholarships as you do male scholarships. That's why a lot of colleges have cut sports like wrestling, baseball, because they're not going to cut their football team, and the football team has how many scholarships on it. That's why they have to cut some of the smaller male sports so they balance it out with the females. So Title IX is going to help some female programs stay afloat, but I'm sure there's going to be some casualties at big schools, the sports that don't generate a lot of revenue. Some of them might be in danger.
Isn't it such an interesting difference too? Like, you read my story on Slippery Rock Recruiting, right?
I did, and I was just absolutely floored by how great that story was.
Are you being for real right now?
No, I'm honest. I want to, like, I'd take you out to dinner, but you'd have to buy.
Well,
my God.
To fill you in, Laura, I talked to Slippery Rock's head football coach and their recruiting coordinator, who's also a coach on their staff, about how they recruit. Mm-hmm. And this is a Division II school. You know how Division II schools work. You're a Division II athlete. They don't have NIL.
And one, actually. Thank you very much.
And one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But
it's not about me. Sorry.
They were talking about how they recruit players, and it's so interesting because if you look at Division II, it's kind of like, even for me, it's kind of like looking back in the past. It's like these schools are recruiting players because they win and they're successful. And that's not to say Slippery Rock's been very successful ever since I started college. I think since 2019 they've made 6 straight national tournaments, which is impressive. Like, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. And the way they recruit, I asked them straight up. I said, "Do you have NIL? Is there anyone that pays anything?" They said, "No, we're a Division II school. We don't have that sort of money." So we saw St. Francis drop down to Division III. Yeah. And when I say don't have money, it's more so.
Then you have Mercyhurst moving up to Division I.
Yeah,
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of shifting, and it's always interesting just to just in the past year, 2 years, college football has changed immensely with the playoff. Now this, NIL, the transfer portal. It's hard to keep up, but it definitely kind of gives you something to watch throughout the offseason.
I will say regarding just college football, I think the tournament with 12 teams now really made it more interesting for me. Will got into it last year.
Yeah, Arizona State and Texas. I remember
he was.
saying.
I mean, he was hook 'em horns all the way. You know, I mean, he was on the couch like shouting, and I mean, I kind of got into it. So strictly from a watching, you know, that moment, a game's on TV, getting into a game, I can still do that, but remembering names, you know, you want to know the Heisman Trophy, what runner was from the 70s or 80s. Give me a year, I'll tell you who it is. Who won the Heisman 3 years ago? I couldn't tell you. Joe Schmo.
3 years ago would have been Caleb Williams, I think.
Who the hell's that? I don't know.
Wait, that would have been 2 years ago. Before.
The quarterback for the Bears.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was
Sid
Caleb
Luckman.
No, I think it was Jalen. I don't know. Jalen Daniels, Caleb Williams was one of
Like
the
I
two.
said, I can't. I don't allow myself to try to remember all the like details from college sports today. I'd rather just keep the ones I have up there. And
Hey, you ever want to go back in time, bring back video games again? NCAA 11 on PS2. Everything is just how it was in 2011. I love it.
Wait, what year was that you said Caleb Williams?
That would have been 2023.
Nope, 2022. But you were correct. He was 2022.
And then
Jaden Daniels, 2023.
Jaden Daniels.
Travis Hunter, 2024. And in 2021, it was Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
1976, Tony Dorsett.
Time is flying.
Hail to Pitt. Okay. So before Aaron Rodgers plays it down for the Steelers, who is currently the oldest player ever to play it down for them?
Come on, Derek. Derek.
He's getting into the chanting of the name.
Sorry, Brendan. Come on.
I'm just going to throw a name out there. I don't know.
It's not Tom.
How old was this guy?
39 years old.
39.
Is it Tom Brady?
He didn't play for the Steelers.
Oh, you said for the
Just for
Steelers.
the
I'm
Steelers,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Mike Webster.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh!
I figured I'd throw the lob in there.
That's like the Jerry Rice question.
I figured I'd just throw the lob.
Derek.
20 and 18 now.
You're going to beat yourself up over that one, I feel.
Questions that were answered. Jerry Rice.
He tricked you on that one.
I wasn't even thinking, Ben.
I was worried you were just going to throw him out as a name. I was like, I think I might have you here.
You know what,
So-
Ben, I loved what he did on the field for the Steelers, but it will always be a,
Yep.
you know, dumb kid making dumb decisions
Yeah,
off the
didn't he-
field.
didn't
Off the
he
field.
Ride his motorcycle around and without a helmet and
Oh,
crash
yeah,
or
he
something?
almost died that day.
Yeah, right?
Yes, that was.
Like what? Here's the thing. Okay, I don't understand. And you're both. If either one of you was given an NFL contract, right, as a quarterback, all right, would you be riding a motorcycle around without a helmet? I don't understand.
I wouldn't
What's
ride
the
a
problem with the
motorcycle in the
helmet?
first
I don't
place.
care if a guy has a helmet on a motorcycle. I think they're hot, right? I
Oh
do.
my God.
I like motorcycles.
What is it about motorcycles and women? Like, what is that?
Well,
just
I
gets you
didn't say
going?
that I only go for guys on motorcycles. That's what I said.
No.
Because I've ridden a motorcycle and I think it's pretty tight. Not gonna lie, I like it.
I
The
did
wind
agree.
in
No,
my face.
no one is ever saying, I love these newspaper writing men. I'll tell
Oh,
you.
hey, that's
Well, no,
what,
of course
that's not
they're
why
not.
I got in this business.
Well,
I
no,
did it.
I like nerdy guys. Sorry, calling you both nerds, kind of.
I dated a girl
Nerdy
in
guys are
college
good.
that had the thing for the motorcycle guy. Yeah.
Well, Bailey's roommate, whenever she
But if
lived
you're
here.
like, I write for a newspaper, that's not how you
no,
know.
I'm gonna be honest. When
I play
I'm a
online
journalist.
Scrabble
when
night,
I
baby.
would tell people I
Call
wrote for
yourself a
newspaper.
sports journalist.
When I would tell people I wrote for newspaper, they thought it was interesting.
It is interesting.
I remember on Tinder one time, this woman said, and I think I saw the screenshot on my phone. I had her guess what I do for a living because, like,
Oh, that's always a fun game. Guess what I do? I'm like,
how
I don't know.
Yeah, how I present
Lie.
myself in person. Like, I wear
kidding.
shorts or wear a t-shirt. Like, and she said, "You look like a daddy's money finance major that is unemployed." I was like, "You are so far from the truth right there."
Well,
like,
you told her to guess.
yeah,
I mean,
we stopped talking like 3 messages later.
Daddy's
so.
Well,
money,
what were you wearing? A polo
finance
shirt
major?
and like, what were you wearing? Did you look like a
No.
frat boy?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Did you have a dickie on?
She probably made a good.
A fake turtleneck?
No.
He doesn't know what that is.
No.
We
I'll
used
wear
to
one next week for you.
Wait, Christmas
Wait,
Vacation.
I'm not here next week.
Have you seen Christmas Vacation? You haven't seen Christmas Vacation. You need
Randy
to get out of here
Quaid.
right now. Randy Quaid, and you can see it
Yeah,
through.
because he's got a white
it's
sweater
a white
on.
sweater and a black dickie. So the dickie only comes to like about here.
But you can see it. It's
But you can see it. It's
horrible.
hilarious because Randy Quaid is just.
Let's
I mean those movies. I mean Chevy Chase is right, but without Randy Quaid and Christmas Vacation, it wouldn't have hit the mark the way that it did.
The older boy's planning for his future. Oh, college? Carnival.
Carnival.
Oh,
He's
man.
like, fell into a well, eyes crossed.
We
Got
need
kicked
to
by a
have
mule, they went straight
have
again.
a weekend with Brendan where we just right after another Rocky 2, Rocky 3,
Yeah.
Rocky 4, Christmas Vacation.
Listen, I love
Mystic
hosting. I'll
Pizza?
cook,
No.
I'll cook food all day. We'll have
There we go.
food. You guys like bring the coffee in the morning. I'll just have a whole day of just like I'll be like, here's the next serving.
How Stella got her groove back.
Nah, we're not watching that. We're watching Rocky and what was the other one that he said he's never seen that we're talking about? Have you seen Spaceballs?
Oh.
Did we talk about that? You haven't
Well,
seen Spaceballs?
Just assume I haven't seen anything in the 80s other than like Star Wars.
He's never seen Napoleon Dynamite the whole way through.
Oh.
I prefer not to.
Come
I watched
on.
that
I
a
think
couple
if you
weeks
watched it
ago.
with us, you would have fun now.
Watch Derek like laugh off his chair.
Oh my gosh.
I saw a clip last week from that someone posted, and I was like, man, I wish I could share this with
How
them
much you
right
want
now.
to? How much you want to bet I could throw a football over the mountains?
Over the mountains. He's like, if I could go back to
He's a-
states, we would win.
Back in '82, I could throw a football quarter mile. Are you serious?
He tries.
Are you serious?
He tries using the time machine, and it like electrocutes him, and then he's like walking around funny. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like hurting because it electrocuted him. It's like this.
You know, a quarter mile is like 400 yards. 400, basically 400 yards.
Can't
He's
throw
saying
baseball that far.
He could throw a football 400 yards. And Kip's like, really? Kip's too gullible. But he ends the show with
LaFonda.
LaFonda, and they move back to Detroit where she's got her homies waiting for him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's really funny.
After months of
Deliberation.
limbo, all-time great quarterback Aaron Rodgers is now a Steeler. What are your thoughts on what this means for the 2025 season?
Selfishly, the first thing I thought about was he will be there tomorrow at minicamp, Wednesday, Thursday. It's going to be a circus there. Like last week, the parking there was terrible. Where I got there at 9:00 and there were no spots, so I had to park on the south side in a parking garage and walk.
Like you're gonna have
over.
to park on the hot metal bridge.
Yeah, so
You might have to camp out overnight.
it's gonna be. I'll just park in the parking garage and walk over. But it's exciting that he's coming because it's something to talk about. You know, like it's something like an all-time great quarterback is here. Like, can he do something? But at the same time, it's like he's 41 years old. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure how much is left in the tank. I'm not sure what or how much of an upgrade he is over Mason Rudolph. And I made that argument to my brother and my friends recently. And it's like, he's not that much better than Mason Rudolph. And they're like, you're saying him with 4 MVPs and he's won a Super Bowl. I was like, that Aaron Rodgers, 2010, wasn't Mason Rudolph. This Aaron Rodgers much more resembles Mason Rudolph than that one did. So, I don't know. It'll be...
And he's 13 years older, too.
Yeah, the Steelers are always going to be relevant this season, whether they're winning, hopefully, or losing, hopefully not. And, you know, Aaron Rodgers is kind of difficult with the media, too. Like, he doesn't really trust them because people have written countless things on him kind of being off in space and him believing different things and the darkness retreat. And it's cool, but it also brings so much of a touch of, like, drama and diva behavior to Pittsburgh, and that a lot of people have talked that doesn't really fit what this city is.
No, I was thinking about this. The only reason, number one, if you're bringing Aaron Rodgers in, you're hoping if you're Omar Khan, you're hoping if you're Mike Tomlin, that he has one great year left in him. One great year. But even with that, signing him, you're basically saying that you believe the Steelers are one great season out of a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl. And you look at the Steelers now. Was their problem just the quarterback last year? Look how bad the defense played down the stretch. And that was with T.J. Watt on the field.
I think they've patched their defense where they needed to. The Harmon pick wasn't the sexiest pick in the first round, but it was one they needed to make. He's huge. Getting Y.A. Black. They really bolstered that defense. To get Cole Holcomb back, who looks good. I think the defense won't be a problem this year. The offense is in the same situation with a running back who's not Najee Harris. Jalen Warren is kind of injury prone too. Like, he's gotten injured on multiple occasions, right? Like, he'll come in, he'll get hurt. He's a smaller guy. They're in the same place offensively, except for having Aaron Rodgers. I'd put them in the same place as they were last year. Just swap out Russell Wilson with Aaron Rodgers, and Metcalf and Pickens is kind of the same thing.
Well, let's hope the 2025 season doesn't end with 5 straight losses.
Yeah.
Because I'm convinced, and maybe this will come back to bite me, the Steelers always find a way to be in the mix late in the season. This year, just don't lose your last 5 games. Have 10 wins by mid-December with like 3 games left and see what you can do, but just don't lose your last 5 games. That's my request for the Steelers this year.
You gonna write a letter to Santa? Maybe he'll bring you that.
I'm on his blacklist.
What, Laura?
After no, I can't. I don't want to. After we had to let Will know about Santa on Christmas Day 2 years ago.
I don't think you've told me that story, but
yes, I'll have to go into it.
Laura, what are your thoughts other than Aaron Rodgers' level of attractiveness or perceived attractiveness of him coming to Pittsburgh? You weren't aware that he was like a.
I think how do I say this? A really good friend of mine is from Green Bay, huge Packers fan. We always had like a really good rivalry when it came to her being a diehard Green Bay Packers fan and me being a diehard Steelers fan. The year that they played in the Super Bowl, Green Bay won. What was that?
2010,
2011.
Yep.
Yeah. And, we've just always had a really good understanding. So I don't know, part of me always felt like I'd root for them if I had to. Like, if the Steelers weren't in and Green Bay was, I would root for Green Bay just because she's a good friend of mine. So I never really paid close attention to him on a personal level. I didn't until you guys were like, oh, he's a bad guy. He's not. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know what's going on. All I know that he was engaged to Shailene Woodley or whatever, and they were together for a short amount of time. They got engaged, and then they broke up. Now all this stuff is coming out about how he's been in these relationships with these women. So I'm like, but I'm also like, I don't care. I'm never going to date him.
Yeah,
I was kind of joking because he's good looking.
I'm not going to date Aaron either,
but it's like, I'm not marrying him, so I'm not really concerned with it as long as he's not losing games. We need to have a good season. That's all I care about.
Yes, please.
So, I'll be feet from
Win a playoff game this year.
We are the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are we doing?
I'll be feet from Aaron Rodgers tomorrow.
Hey.
Are there any pressing questions you have for him?
Ask him if he wants to come on as a guest on the podcast.
He would probably tell me no.
How do you know that?
That'd be interesting.
I'll give you my business card. So here's our producer's business card.
All right.
We want you on our sports podcast. Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Mike Tomlin has been coach of the Steelers now for 18 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of those 18 seasons have the Steelers won a playoff?
3.
4. That's it.
I mean, come on.
And the last one was 2016.
Yeah.
Do you think Tomlin is coming to an end here soon? If we don't have a good season this year, do you think?
Maybe that's why. I don't know if you heard this. I heard their first
is that their Hail Mary?
Their first choice in the offseason was actually Matthew Stafford. They tried to get him into trade.
Well, I heard it was Fields first and then after.
I heard it was Fields. Stafford. That didn't work out. Fields, he said, heck with you guys. You don't want me, so I'm leaving. And then they got Rodgers. But I think this move is kind of like, it seems like a last hurrah for Tomlin. Hey, I'm not saying I don't have any inside information. You're our Steelers insider here, but it seems like this could be like okay, we're going to try this, and if it doesn't work, then Tomlin's going to ride off into the sunset. Well,
reminded myself about Justin Fields, and I'm going to be sad the rest of the night. So
that's when we need a sound effect that has a baby crying.
Wait.
I'm going to go get some for dinner.
I'll probably head out at a certain point too. I need to get a drink too.
Hey, can you imagine going home and thinking you're going to sleep and all of a sudden you got that at 2:30 in the morning? Oh, I remember those days. Willie! We encourage you to subscribe to the Butler Eagle YouTube channel and Apple or Spotify podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Alter Eagle Podcast and at Butler Eagle News. Goodbye.